Are you looking for a way to build backlinks to your blog? Are you trying to rank your blog higher in Google and increase your traffic and overall revenue? Well, you've come to the right place because in this video, I'll be going over how to build backlinks fast to your blog for beginners. So let's get straight into this. So first of all, when you're building links to your site, you need to first of all identify link targets. So what are link targets? So simply put, link targets are links that you want to get from certain sites. So you're going to create a list of these sites that you want to get, and these are simply called link targets. So how do you actually get these link targets? So what you're going to do is simply use search operators. So search operators are simply terms you put into Google to get data in a specific way. So I've written here, for example, you'd put your keyword, then write for us your keyword help wanted, keyword blog for us, keyword guest blog for us, etc., etc. You can Google this and come up with more guest post search operators. And for the keyword, you're simply going to type in your niche. So let's just say you're on gardening or gaming or fitness or skincare, and you're going to simply type that in along with one of the search operators that relate to guest posting. So a lot of sites, they'll want you to write for them. So they'll have a page title, write for us. So you can simply put in your niche, so gardening, write for us in speech marks, and it'll pull up a bunch of different sites. And you're going to simply qualify those sites, which goes into the next slides. So qualify the sites. So you're going to want to analyze their content first. Is first of all, are they using the correct English? Are they grammatically correct? Or is it just a bunch of really thin, spammy content? And does the site actually look good? If it looks like an old, outdated site, you probably don't want to link from them. Next of all, you can see if they're active by finding their social media. So let's just say they've got a big social media following and they're active in there. Well, if you guest post on their site and they share that guest post, well, that means a lot of people will be going to that guest post, and that's going to power up that backlink pointing to your site and increase the power of that backlink and increase your overall rankings. Next of all, this is my favorite metric to look at because this really filters out the garbage. So look at their traffic. So in order to see what the traffic looks like, you'll have to get an estimation using tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs, Ubersuggest, which they can be expensive, but I believe something like Ubersuggest is about $10 a month. So you can check that out. And you want to see if they're getting any traffic. If they're not, well, they're probably a crappy site. So what's the point guest posting on a site that hasn't got any traffic? Some people say, oh, just look at their domain authority or domain rating. Well, that doesn't really matter because you can easily manipulate something like that. So the best thing to look at is to look at their traffic. Next thing, you want to see if they're a PBN. And a lot of people use PBNs for backlinking, which is a black hat tactic. But backlinking in general is a black hat tactic, to be honest with you. But I would be careful of PBNs. So a PBN is simply a private blog network. So they're simply websites they started up for the sake of backlinking and putting guest posts on. So one of the ways you can identify backlinking is just check out their posts or how many sites are they linking to. If they're linking to a lot of affiliate sites and local websites, then it's probably a PBN. Look at their content. Is it good? And again, is it getting any traffic? If it's not getting any traffic, then I wouldn't recommend guest posting on that site, even if the domain authority is super high. So next up, after you've found some qualified blogs, go ahead and record them in a spreadsheet. This is just going to help with productivity and make your life a lot easier. You can simply record a lot of blogs and just do this in bulk. And again, it's just going to make your life a lot easier. So next up, you want to find the contact details. One of the best ways to do this is simply use a Chrome extension or Firefox extension called Hunter.io. This is an easy way to simply get their contact details. You can also look at the footer. You can look at the contact page or the about page to find their contact details. If that fails, you can check a website called whois.com. Just put their site in there and see if an email comes up. If you can't find their email, don't worry, just move on and forget about that site because you can't always find their contact details. Sometimes you'll just have to go through a particular form that you find. You might not be able to email them via, let's say, Gmail or your own sending account. So here's a quick tip. Some blogs have a Write For Us page that have rules and requirements. So make sure you've read those and have them recorded in those spreadsheets. So some people, when you're emailing them, they get a lot of guest post emails. So they might have a right first page or a requirements page that says when you send them an email, say something like blue cow in the email, so you know you've read their requirements. So that's just a quick heads up. So what you're going to want to do is prioritize link targets. So which blogs do you reach out to first? So let's just say you've got a bunch of blogs that you can reach out to. Well, that's a lot of them that you're going to manually reach out to. So you need to prioritize. So the way I like to prioritize is traffic. So see which one's getting the most amount of traffic. That's a good way to prioritize. You can look at the domain authority. I wouldn't worry about this too much because you can easily manipulate something like this. Next up, you can check their social media following. Next up, you can check the likelihood of linking out. So have they allowed other guest posts and link to other sites? What's their blog activity and how relevant is their content to yours? So you want to make sure it's pretty niche specific or within your industry. So you want to go ahead and do the outreach. So I like to create a dedicated email account and start pitching for a guest post. So you can simply create a Gmail account or an email link to your particular site using the cPanel. I like to do a separate email account simply because by using my personal email account, it just makes things a lot messier going back and forth. So create a dedicated outreach account. So here's the big question. Will I have to pay for guest posts? And the short answer is yes, you will be paying for guest posts. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, but if I create content for them, then they'll allow a guest post. No, that doesn't matter. They don't really care. Everyone now knows the value of backlinks. For example, I've got a site related to video games and anime. And when I reach out to different, let's say, anime blogs, when I do a guest post for them, they say, okay, you're paying this much for a guest post. So everyone's aware of the value of a backlink. So you will be charged for a backlink. The key here is to negotiate a price. So they'll give you a price, try to go for a lower price, and then settle on the middle ground. That's what I would recommend. But you will be paying for a guest post. I know a lot of people saying, again, oh, just give them a piece of content and they'll allow a link. It doesn't work like that anymore. And if they do, they're going to make you work really, really hard for that link. There'll be a lot of back and forth. And you'll have to create a massive, amazing piece of content. And it's just not worth the time and effort. It's best just to pay them and get it over and done with. So how long does this take? Well, backlinking is a really long process because there's a lot to do. There's a lot of data to collect. You've got the whole outreach process. So after a few hundred emails, you'll probably get about 40 to 50 responses at best, what I found in my experience and other people. And that's just the name of the game. You'll get a few responses and then even fewer opportunities to link. So again, this is just how it is. Backlinking and outreach is just a long process. So how do you automate this process and save thousands of hours? Well, that's what the next part of this video is for. I'll be showing you how to easily skip a lot of this. Well, not skip it, but do a lot of this in an easy way by using a simple tool. So in this tool called PostArga, and this is simply going to automate the process that I've just gone through in the slides. So this is a paid tool, so it's about $40 to $45 a month, but it's well worth it, and it's going to save you thousands of hours. So you're going to log into this, and this is what the dashboard is going to look like. You're going to hit New Campaign. And now you're going to scroll down to Custom Search. And then you're going to type in your niche and then the guest post operator, or it can just be something like write for us. Hit find results, and this is going to load in a bunch of results. So you can go ahead and qualify these. So I've already qualified this particular site, so it's niche related, it's a good looking site, and the content reads well. And if you go to a tool like ubersuggest.com, so it just shows you the traffic, and it's going over 200,000 searches a month. The domain score is 28. I wouldn't pay attention to this. It's a vanity metric. Anyone can manipulate it. I'd pay attention to this. So it's definitely get traffic. So it'll probably cost a decent amount to get a do follow link from it. So you know it's a good site. So you can go ahead and qualify these sites. So let's just say we've qualified these three. and you can go and show all results to keep looking at more sites. After you found the sites that you want, click Analyze Links, and it's just going to load in the links. And then you're going to click on Get Contacts, and it's just going to get you the emails and it'll automatically verify them. So verified, and no contact could be found. So you're going to select an email sequence. So I've already created one called Test Me. So you can simply go to Emails, Sequences, and you can create a new sequence here. And you'd select the email that you've created, and then you'd hit Save. And you'd create the email by simply going to Emails. You would hit New Email, and I've already created one that looks like this. So you can simply put the subject line in, guest post price, and then you'd put the copy in. So I've personally tested a bunch of email subject lines, and I found that guest post price works the best. And it looked like this. The copy would, hey, first name, or if you can't find their first name, and automatically replace it with hey there. I wanted to reach out because I wanted to know how much you charge for guest posts. I want to link out to my site. Let me know what you think. And then you can put your name there. You can also put the name of your site there so they can go ahead and check it out. And you can put in more merge types of variables, but I'd recommend keeping these to a minimum, because if you put too many of these in, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up in the promotions tab. And that's going to mean you're going to show up less in people's inboxes. So that's how you create the email. Simply go into Emails and then create new. You can go ahead and save it. And then you'd go ahead and go to the sequences after you created the email, new sequence, then select the email and hit save. And then you'd have to refresh this page, and then you'll find it in this tab here. So it just shows you, hey Alex, so it comes up with the first name, and you're going to want to sort this. So the formatting, you want to put another space there if you want. And yeah, that's a solid email. So you can schedule it. You can thread the messages. You can send on weekends. So I can take send on weekends, stop and reply. So you don't want to keep sending if someone replies. So take that. So you can take send on weekends, thread the messages. So it's going to be easier to keep track of. And then you can schedule it, or you can save without scheduling. Once it loads. And then it'll go ahead and it'll start sending. So status waiting. So sometimes it does need to be approved. So if you want to go back on it, you can go ahead and click on edit campaign, and it'll start loading. And you can go ahead and edit it. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. That's how you automate this particular process. If you want to check out this tool, then there will be a link in the description to it. It is an affiliate link, so I will get a small commission if you do purchase it. But that's pretty much it. That's exactly how you build backlinks very easily to your blog, very quickly. And this is a really great way to do it. This tool just makes things so much easier. The user interface, which is so easy. It's easy to use. And you can get a lot more advanced by going and checking these things out. So that's it for this video. Now, if you enjoy these types of videos, then make sure to subscribe, because I'll be creating different marketing videos every week.